Welcome to this session about how to configure public maps using GMedia Smart Client 2015. In the next couple of minutes, we will check the prerequisites, see how to configure base maps, points of interest and the search, and based on these configurations, we will configure the actual map views, and finally we will have a look at the configured public maps project on the client side in the browser. To check the prerequisites, we log on to the Smart Client Administrator again, and in order to be able to configure public maps, a project has to be configured in GMedia Smart Client and it must be ready to use. So let's check the project. Here we go, we have the project with the coordinate systems, the project bounds and the legend configured with some features in there. Again, we have live features and cached features, what is important, the cached features must be published in order to be able to use them in public maps. And for sure the symbologies that have been defined in that project must also be valid. Once we have checked everything, we can switch to the public maps administration. A base map defines the basic map content in public maps. As source for this base layer, you can use Google Maps, Bing Maps, OpenStreetMap, or a WMTS. The WMTS may be an external one, a public one, or one that has been created using GMedia Smart Client. We have already configured some base maps for Bing Maps, Google Maps, and OpenStreetMap. Let's have a look at the Bing Maps. On Bing Maps, you need the name and the coordinate system. For all of them, Bing Maps, OpenStreetMap and Google Maps, the coordinate system must be with EPSG code 3857. This is important. Then on Bing Maps you need to define the layer type and you need an API key. For Google Maps you just need to define the layer type, and on OpenStreetMap you just define the name and the coordinate system, and that's it. In this session we will focus on a new base map that is based on the WMTS generated within this configuration. So we give it a name. Here you can see we have the base URL. Out of this base URL we get the available WMTS. For the current configuration we have the Las Vegas WMTS in our project. In here, get the layers to be selected. This WMTS offers only one layer. We get the style, tile metric set, format and axis order pre-selected. Please double check if the settings are correct, and if so, we can save it. As a next step, the POI overlays may be defined. Therefore, select the project and select the feature that you would like to use as POI, in our case the hotel POI, and define the tooltip in here. This will be the tooltip that will be displayed for this POI. We have already prepared a tooltip, an HTML tooltip, so I'll just copy paste the HTML format in here, but for sure, as always, you can define the tooltip by using the tools up here. We will use a dynamic image for this tooltip. So let's save this one. And we can see that in the system there is already another POI for some events. In general, points of interest will most likely be points, but you can also use lines or polygons. If you use lines or polygons, the whole geometry will be highlighted on the map, but the marker will be set as a point for it. Furthermore, you can define search content for the application, and a search must be based on a database table having a valid full-text search configuration. Let's have a look at our search. We have already address search and event search defined. Now we would like to define a new search for the hotels. Select the coordinate system that is used for the table. Select the data source. Define the connection string define the entity or the table name, the key field, and the geometry field. Let's save this one. Once we have saved the initial configuration, we can select the search fields, the columns that should be used in that search. They must be part of the full text search index for sure. We search for the facility address, the name, and the display name, and apply this one. Now we can define what should be used as display fields. The display fields may be any of the fields of the columns in that table. We use the facility address and the facility name, apply this one, and down here we define the format, how it should look like. In the search panel we would like to get the name and the address to be displayed. We can save this one. Once the base map, the searches and the POIs have been configured, the actual map view may be defined. For Bing, Google and OpenStreetMap, the map views have already been pre-configured, so now we will create a new map view for the Las Vegas WMTS. This one will be the default one. On startup, we select our base map to be the Las Vegas WMTS. The project will be the Las Vegas project. This project will be used to define the bounds of the project and to get the feature configuration for those features that will be used together with POIs or for the overlay features. Let's select the zoom level. In our case, we would like to get an overview, so we select 2, and we can define the center east and center north, and we will receive the information out of the project center from the Las Vegas project. If you have a copyright to be set on the map, you can place the copyright. For sure, for Bing Maps, Google Maps and OpenStreetView, the copyright is already in the base map. So let's save this one. Once we have set up our general configuration, we can define the POIs that we would like to add. We add the event POIs and we add the hotel POI to our map view. We add the searches. Would like to search for hotels. The hotel for sure will be associated with the POI so that we get the tooltip information to be displayed whenever we search for a hotel. We add the event, and for events we also do have POIs, so we would also like to combine the search with the POI. And then we have a general address search that does not have a POI in the background, so we just select the search without any POI information. And finally, we need to define the features that we would like to use as overlay features out of our project. And in here, we would like to select out of the facilities the schools, and out of the hazards the fire heat map. Add them to our base map. And let's save it. We can have a quick look. Bing Maps looks quite the same way. Just need to add the hotel POI and add the newly created search for the hotels and the hotel POI association. The rest is the same. And once we have finished the general configuration, as a last step before we can have a look at the client side, is that we need to create the symbols. Creating the symbols pre-generates the symbols that are needed for the search and the POI display. So whatever we need in the map, in that content, we need to pre-render those symbols. Let's create them. Now the system creates the symbols for you, and once they have been successfully created, we can start the client. PublicMaps comes up using the default map view with the WMTS of Las Vegas and the overlays. On the left hand side we can see the search panel. Here we can see the navigation panel and the location in case that we would like to zoom to the current location. Now we can switch between the different map views, Bing Maps, Google Maps, OpenStreetMap, or our Las Vegas WMTS, and you can share the map using a social network, a social platform, or email. On the map itself, we can see in the background the base map, the WMTS, overlay feature of the heat maps, and if we zoom in, we can get the POIs to be displayed, and if we zoom in furthermore, we get the schools to be displayed. Now let's search a little bit. Let's search for an address. For example, the Tropicana Avenue will be displayed in here, or we can search for a hotel. This was just the address search without any POI associated to it. On the hotels we do have a POI, so if we search for the Caesars Palace, for example, we click on it and we get the tooltip information out of the POI, and if we move the mouse around it in here, we get the tooltip information on the map which has been defined for the feature. This is the POI tooltip, and this is the feature tooltip on the map. And let's search for an event, like for example the Hexagon Live that will come up and take place in Las Vegas. We get the information in here, and we get the information on the map. And the same searches, if we switch the map view, are also working, for example, in Google Maps. You can see we get the same overlays. Zoom around, can search for hotels the same way, or can get our event overlays. So you can use any base content with your own data as overlay features, using them as POI, as search content, or as traditional overlay features like we do it in here with the hotels. So this was the session about public maps. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for your attention.